So when I first was asked to interview at Ohio State in 1987, some 35 years ago, I was told that Ohio State's law school was a gay rights school. And that was because of Rhonda. That was because of the work that Rhonda had done in the area of sexual orientation and gender identity. It was because recognition of all of her efforts on behalf of that community. When I interviewed a few months later, Rhonda picked me up at the airport. I got in the car, and she said to me, "This is my life partner, Margaret. If you have any other questions, let me know." And it was years, of course, before they could actually marry legally, but it was so matter of fact. This is my life, right? Sort of that approach, and I thought that was exactly the right approach to take. And then finally, when I went up for tenure some years later, Rhonda was my shepherd. Rhonda sort of helped me through that process. And while I can't say it was altogether painless, she made it as supportive and as helpful as it could be, that is, because of her efforts. And so, what I want to say is, Rhonda, thank you so much. You deserve this for everything that you've done, and I'm personally thankful for knowing you.
So, Rhonda, this is John Quigley. I would like to add my congratulations to those of the others for an award that is more than deserved. I think others might not understand exactly the extent of what you accomplished at Ohio State. And perhaps I should explain that prior to your arrival, we did have some gay student groups on campus. I'll use the term gay student groups because LGBT didn't come into use as terminology until much later. But there was an undergraduate group that started within a few months after Stonewall in 1970. There was a law student group that started a couple of years after that. And in both of those groups, I was asked to be the faculty advisor. So I was faculty advisor. But the atmosphere on the campus, to put it mildly, was less than welcoming for gay students. The undergraduate student group was, you might say, infiltrated by the campus police. They sent an officer who pretended to be a student and came to all of the meetings to see what was being cooked up. And one of the things that was planned was a dance at the Ohio Union. And when that dance was held, the campus police came, which was fine, except that they arrested three of the people who attended because these were males who were wearing dresses. And there was a city ordinance that said you couldn't wear clothing of the other sex. So the campus police took these three fellows downtown. They were convicted. We had to go to the County Court of Appeals. I participated in the appeal. We eventually got the convictions overturned. But I say that just to indicate that the campus was much different from what it became in later years. And that difference came about in large part because of Rhonda's work. Rhonda was everywhere on this issue. She was in the Gay Pride March. She was in the Stonewall Union, which started up. Prior to the Stonewall Union, the main organizing group in Columbus was actually this undergraduate organization, which attracted people from off campus. But Rhonda just turned around the atmosphere at the law school our faculty voted to prevent the Army, the U.S. Army, from using our career services because they refused to interview all of the students. And so for a number of years, the Army was prevented from recruiting in our building. But Rhonda changed things not only in the law school, but more broadly in the university. I think it was her personality, the fact that she was upfront about things, that she didn't take guff from anybody. I mean, people saw that, and that encouraged our students and encouraged our faculty on these issues. And she took this even, beyond the university. She was involved in litigation about AIDS, other issues. She did scholarship on the issue. She did some of the primary scholarship on equality issues of that period, and was appropriately rewarded, including by the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. She took it to the main academic organizations in law teaching. One is the Society of Law Teachers that she eventually became president of, and another called the Association of American Law Schools, where she got action going on equality issues. So, Rhonda, I can only say this is something that is much deserved for you, but it was to the benefit of the university that you did what you did. It's hard for our students nowadays to understand what it was like back then, but it was you who, in large part, brought about the change.
Hello, my name is Douglas Whaley, and I'm a emeritus professor at the Moritz College of Law at Ohio State. I joined the faculty in 1976 in January, and I moved here to come out. I had been in the closet, even to myself, before then. And the students immediately started helping me out because I would meet them at the gay bars and so forth, and they taught me how to be a gay man. And Rhonda Rivera, who is, I trust, listening to this, arrived for the fall semester. And suddenly I had all the gay students, the gay males and the lesbians in my office pointing like bird dogs. Lesbian, lesbian. And she was 2 doors down from me. And I had met her, of course, and she and I were teaching the same subjects, commercial law things. So I went to her office and I said, let's go to lunch. Would you like that, go to lunch? And she said, sure, that'd be fun. Where? And I said, oh, well, there's a good restaurant at the Hilton right down the street. And she tells this story and she says, oh my God, he's going to hit on me. So we're driving in the car and she squeezed over next to the passenger's door. And as we were driving, I said, are you aware that we share a common social difficulty? And she said, no. I said, I'm gay. And she said, oh, goodness, thank goodness. And so we had a 2-hour conversation. And at one point, we debated if the dean called us in and asked if we were gay, would we lie? And then so much happened thereafter. Well, Rhonda is a bully, and she took over for everything as the years went on, and she bullied the faculty and the dean and the president of the university and the mayor and the governor. And Stonewall Columbus got formed, and I was on the original board, and they said, do you think Rhonda Rivera would be interested? So I invited Rhonda to join. She took over Stonewall Columbus, and she was its second president, and she was a powerhouse. And Rhonda started doing all kinds of things through the years. And when AIDS hit, she mobilized the lesbians and really came to help. She is Wonder Woman. When Randy Shilts wrote his book, he had written And the Band Played On, and then he wrote one about gays in the military, and he learned that Rhonda had all the records in her office, so he came to her. She had written a law review article for the Hastings Law Journal that collected all the cases that had ever been about gays. And that law review article is still the most cited thing that was ever in their journal. And she's just superwoman. And I adore her dearly. And of course, she deserves this award and many more awards. And I want to tell you that I'm recording this on Thursday, March the 9th, which is her 85th birthday. Well, she's Wonder Woman, and she is my Wonder Woman. Rhonda, I adore you. Congratulations on this award. And of course, I will pick you up at the airport.
Rhonda, as Dean of The Ohio State University Michael E. Moritz College of Law, and on behalf of the entire Ohio State law community, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to congratulate you on your upcoming induction into the Office of Diversity and Inclusion's Hall of Fame. I can't think of anyone more deserving. We were humbled and honored to nominate you and thrilled to hear that you were selected. You have served the LGBT community passionately as a lawyer, academic, professor, and leader for more than 3 decades, fighting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender, and race. You are credited as the pioneer of the gay and lesbian community within legal academia. And during your 2 decades at Ohio State Law, from 1976 to 1996, you were the driving force behind the development of Ohio State's equity policies. As a professor, you served on countless panels focused on diversity, same-sex issues, gender equality, and AIDS, punctuated by your keynote address in 1995 for Stonewall at 25 and beyond. Your law review articles on gay and lesbian issues have been cited in dozens of appellate cases, several books, and over 80 law review articles. This includes your groundbreaking piece, Our Straight-Laced Judges, the Legal Position of Homosexual Persons in the United States, about the treatment of lesbians and gays under civil rights laws in the United States. You were among the first to write about the application of the law to protect the rights of those living with AIDS in your article, Lawyers, Clients, and AIDS, Some Notes from the Trenches. And while in private practice, you dedicated years to helping those afflicted with AIDS fight for their rights, including participating on early panels dealing with issues in lesbian custody cases and legal issues for non-married cohabitants at the Midwest Regional Conference on Women in the Law. Rhonda, you are truly a trailblazer. I could go on and on citing your successes, contributions, and honors. Not only do you exemplify ODI's core values, you inspire others to do the same. We are incredibly proud to see you installed as one of Ohio State's legends in the field of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know I speak for the entire Ohio State law community when I say congratulations on this very well-deserved honor.